So Tando is a mobile app that gives you the freedom to spend your Bitcoin anywhere in Kenya. M-Pesa is accepted. So it's any M-Pesa outlets. Right now in Kenya, you can be able to spend your Bitcoin. So living on Bitcoin in Kenya is not just in theory. It's happening now.
Well, Bitcoin really opens your eyes. A lot of people, especially on Bitcoin Twitter /X, analogize Bitcoin to the Matrix. The Matrix, the movie, is kind of like, if you're living in the Matrix, you don't see how the system really works. Once you get pulled out of the Matrix, you actually see how the financial system works, how government works, how all these systems that we could just kind of grow up and just get thrown into the system. You never really dive deep and appreciate how they all work together, and how the people that are at the top can manipulate the system to their advantage. Right?
Yeah, true.
So
true.
Bitcoin kind of pulls the curtain back and shows you how money works, how government works, how geopolitics works, how so many elements that we just kind of take for granted, how it actually functions. And
I don't know, it will help us push the network further, but yeah, we really need more women, and we are seeing more women do great things. I mean, we have myself from Bitcoin Data. We have Rosaline from B2B Ashara.
Linda.
We have Viola from, what is it called? Satoshi 53. We have Linda, we're CPT or whatever, and be like, hey, what is Bitcoin? Like, give me just the basics. I need to understand And yeah, you'll be helped. But Bitcoin is money. Like, we are talking here today, even with our Uber when we are coming, we pay with Bitcoin. I literally live on Bitcoin through Tando. And we're here to prove to you that it's tangible and it has real use cases. So, so your mentality at a Bitcoin
Hey, hello folks. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. From wherever you're watching us, welcome to third episode that is turning Bitcoin into everyday life money. Guess who's in the house? We have Tando in the house. Hey Sabina. Hey, good morning.
Good morning, Alphonse.
How have you been?
I've been well. I'm tired, but we made it. It's
Sorry
so
about
early,
that.
guys. Alphonse made us wake up so early for this. But we're not complaining. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Okay, great. Hey, Jason.
it's actually 4 p.m., guys. Don't listen to me. It's really for her.
Oh, great to have you all around. So, guys, Tando is this thing about how can we get to spend Bitcoin into Kenyan currency, But there is something I was following up about the Bitcoin conference. Was it last year? So it brought a couple of cash in Kenya, I was looking about more of a couple of cash, if I may say. So how did that will go to Jason, how did that made you feel? Like foreigners coming to Kenya, spending, Bitcoin into local cash through Tando. And that was the theme, because each and every person who attended the conference was like, am I use my Bitcoin to, how did that feel?
It felt amazing. We kind of launched the app Tando early in, I'd say, October, just like a little test version. And then we got some good user feedback. And then we changed some things and got it ready for the conference. And we weren't really ready for what all these Bitcoiners descending on Nairobi. But the app held up. Everyone was able to spend Bitcoin into the local economy, which is great because, it's one thing to say Bitcoin is money, but until you can actually turn it into goods and services, it doesn't actually feel like money. It's like this theoretical magic internet money, and you can hodl it and this and that. But until you can actually turn it into, a hoodie, a T-shirt, food, that's when it actually feels like money. And that was kind of, the genesis of the project. Savita can go into this. Like, we would try to tip people, but and they would ask us, how do you spend it? We didn't have a good answer. So
so let's just take it back a little bit and do an intro of what Tando is. So Tando is a mobile app that gives you the freedom to spend your Bitcoin anywhere in Kenya. M-Pesa is accepted. So it's any M-Pesa outlet. Right now in Kenya, you can be able to spend your Bitcoin. So living on Bitcoin in Kenya is not just in theory. It's happening now
It's
on
happening.
Tando, which is a big deal for me, to be honest. And we brought it to life, so that's amazing. So like Jason was saying, the genesis of Tando came from us getting asked, how can I spend that Bitcoin? And when we were offline, before we started recording, you told us that people are asking you, how do you spend this Bitcoin?
Yeah, sure.
So we would go to restaurants. This was early 2022. Yes. We decided, you know what, we're no longer gonna tip waitresses and these service workers like our Uber drivers in Kenyan shillings or dollars. We decided we're gonna be doing it in Bitcoin. We're gonna be tipping them in Bitcoin, like the good Bitcoiners we are. Because as a Bitcoiner, you want to orange peel everyone you meet. And so us deciding to like do our tips in Bitcoin only, that's where it started. So you'd ask people, especially in Kenya, like, do you want me to tip you in Bitcoin? And of course they would say yes. No one ever said no. Even if they didn't understand what Bitcoin is, no one ever said no. And that's actually subconsciously, it made me, not even subconsciously, it made me think that people are looking for an alternative system.
Sure.
Like they feel something is missing subconsciously, they know it, but they can't just put their, mind to it, but they know there's a problem. So that's why you'd be like, can I tip you in Bitcoin? And they'll happily accept. They're like, yes, please do. And we do that. I remember I was a Chankura orange peeler. I still am. So I had a special code. It was like 444 at the end. And for me, it was also a great opportunity to get to register people on Machankura using the special code. And then I'll get a few sats after I onboard people. So I was like, this is perfect. So I'd create a Machankura account for them and then send them these Satoshis, Bitcoin. And I remember the first person we ever tipped, the waitress, we gave her 10,000 sats. And they got to her phone and she just looked at them like this. She's like, oh, okay. And that honestly, it kind of broke my heart. She like took it so lightly. But then the second that they'll be like, oh wow, okay, fine. I see I've received like 10,000 satoshis. So how do I spend them? Like if I want to pay for my bus fare, how can I do that? And that question kept on coming. It was recurring. It was very common. Even with the Nduzi guys, because I was literally using Bitcoin everywhere. And also, like, personally, for me, when I started working in the Bitcoin space for Bitcoin data, sometimes we get paid in Bitcoin. And I needed to turn this Bitcoin into, like my SAPA or pay my rent. And my landlord, of course, he was not accepting Bitcoin. So there was that. I had to go on exchanges and sell my Bitcoin for USD, then convert that USD into Kenyan shillings, and then wait for those Kenyan shillings to reflect in my M-Pesa account. And then now I'd finally go to the store and spend it. That whole process, it was very, it was draining. I'm a baby girl. I'm a son girl. I don't like, the hassle of...
Sure.
So, and, sometimes you'd lose money. And then let's not even talk about the transaction fees. They were so high, doing all those steps. So that always like prompted me to think of a solution. I always wanted to have like an easy way to spend my Bitcoin directly. I remember one day we were at dinner and I was like telling Jason, I wish there was an easy way for us to, spend Bitcoin like we spend money on M-Pesa, then shilling on M-Pesa. And I feel like that's when like everything started to come together and we got the idea Tando. This was, I think, late 2022. Late 2022. That's when we got the idea. But it was just there. We were thinking about it and we were waiting for someone to actually do it. We didn't want to do it. But then no one was doing it. So
it actually wasn't until the ABC conference in Ghana.
Yes, that's when. So we then attended our first, personally for me, it was my first Bitcoin conference, which was the African Bitcoin Conference in Ghana. This was in 2023. And I had started, I was on a hackathon. I was participating in that year hackathon with the team Splice. And honestly, working with these guys, like, I was like, oh my, I want to do something for the Bitcoin community.
Okay.
I want to build something because they were like motivating me. They work so hard. They're like solutions people. Shout out to Naoma, Collins, and Vlad. And this was my first. Oh, and Simon. Oh my God, sorry, Simon. This was my first Bitcoin conference. So when I got there, and I had just completed my Bitcoin course that year, Bitcoin data, and I started working for them. And I got to that conference and it just felt like I'm home. Like everyone gets Bitcoin here. You don't have to explain. You don't look like a mad person. Because when back home and I was explaining Bitcoin to my friends, my family, everyone looked at me like, she's nuts and she's crazy. And she just wants to corner us.
I know.
So when I came to this conference, like everyone is on the same page. Everyone gets it and they see the bigger picture. And it was so inspiring. Like I was so happy. And I remember Femi from HRF, Femi Longe, he said like we as Africans, we understand our problems better than anyone else because we are living them, we're experiencing them. And so if we are building Bitcoin solutions, we should, tailor them to our problems and we should build them because we are the ones who understand it better.
Sure.
And I feel like that for me, like it just clicked and I was like, I'm gonna do it. We're doing it. And we did it. And funny thing is we had been looking for a name. So when we went to Ghana, we were touring Ghana 1 week later or before, I don't remember. I remember our tour guide, he was telling us about the history of the Ashanti people.
Wow, that is the point that I was waiting for.
Yeah. The Ashanti people, they're from Ghana and they live in this kingdom, the Ashanti kingdom, and they have gods. So they have like 8 gods in their culture. And one of the gods, his name was Tando, or his name is Tando, and he's the god of thunder and lightning. And when he told us that, we were like, that's it, we got our name. That's where we actually got our name. So I feel like that conference it built like a solid foundation for us. I would say like that's where Tando started coming to life because we got the name. Like everything just clicked and the gods were with us, the universe was with us. And then we came back to Kenya and we started building. And here we are now.
Oh, great to have you around. So, Jason, this will come to you. So, at a personal level, so what are some of these challenges that you've passed through? And most probably Bitcoin has helped you gone out of it. Because I remember before the conference, we had a lightning boot camp. Big up to Megasly, that was Africa Free Routing before the conference. So when I was coming to the boot camp, that was I think it was Thursday, Friday or something. Then most probably conference was next week Monday. So I remember that when I was trying to use Tando earlier that Thursday, it wasn't working, But then when I was attending the conference, I remember Monday or something, it was working. So there must be something that happened in between.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Well, right before the conference, we set up a very restricted access because we didn't want to have too many users too soon. And so it's very limited access. So you might run into that issue. But once the conference started, or like maybe the Thursday or Wednesday before the conference, we unlocked it so everyone could start using it. The biggest challenge was probably making sure there was enough liquidity at all times to satisfy all transactions. And we had no idea, there's probably maybe 1,000 people coming for the conference. How much are they going to spend? How quickly are they going to spend? So we need to have a large amount of float in the account to be able to fulfill all those transactions. So that was one challenge. Another challenge we ran into was specifically with pay bills. So there's an account number, which is a numerical number, and then you can put any text you want in the pay bill in the account field. And so sometimes that would work, sometimes it wouldn't. It took us a while to figure out exactly what was going on, but we got to the bottom of it, and now they all work. So we solved that pretty quickly. But the great thing about having a product that people actually use, that's when you really start to find the little bugs that you didn't catch as a developer.
Sure.
And so getting it into people's hands. And luckily, Bitcoiners they're very excited to use new tools like this. And they're also very forgiving. And so if it breaks, they're more than happy to tell you, hey, I tried this, and this. This didn't work.
Sure.
So, okay, cool, thank you. And the other great thing about Bitcoin is its final settlement, right? So as soon as we have the Bitcoin, there's no way it can get reversed. Like if you look at other payment methods like credit cards or even M-Pesa, you can reverse that transaction. And so that puts the merchant, the receiver, in a very delicate situation because you have to trust, right? Trust is a big word in Bitcoin. You have to trust that the sender is not going to pull those funds back in the traditional finance system. But in Bitcoin, everything is final settlement. So we know as soon as we have the Bitcoin, that's guaranteed. It's never going back the other direction unless we send it back. And so the great thing about Tondo is that we receive the Bitcoin, and then once it's locked and settled, we can release the Kenyan shillings out the other end.
Oh, wow.
And so if there are ever situations where the transaction doesn't settle on the fiat side, on the shilling side, we can always refund the Bitcoin.
Yeah, sure,
There's a guarantee, and that's one great thing about Bitcoin and Lightning is that you're guaranteed that the funds have settled, and now we can decide, okay, do we release the shillings? Yes. And for some reason we can't, like the account number was wrong, for example, in those early days, then we can just refund the sats back.
Yeah, sure. I think I can add something to that because I think 2 weeks ago, I think I told you about this on the blockchain conference. So I did try to spend more of 3,500, send it to someone, but later I realized that it bounced back. You know.
That sounds like a case of the wallet. So at Tondo, we don't provide any wallet services. We're just kind of a payment gateway. And so that gives you as the user the ability to choose whichever wallet you want. If you want custodial, non-custodial, it's totally up to you how you want to secure and hold your funds.
Sure.
And sometimes, it's the Lightning Network is, 5-6 years old now. Pretty well developed, but there are times occasionally, especially larger amounts, where, the network has to find multiple hops along the network from your wallet through the network to Tando's node. And if there's not enough liquidity on each node through that path, the transaction might not complete.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And so, as we get further along down this journey of Bitcoin, that network will get better and it'll be more guaranteed that it'll fulfill. But it's pretty rare these days that we see that.
Yeah, sure. So basically, folks, this is something that for me, it sounds amazing because people used to say that Bitcoin is not money, And right now we are spending Bitcoin with in M-Pesa using Tando. So Sabina, this will come to you. So what is the biggest myth that you've heard about Bitcoin?
The biggest myth.
According to you.
That's a big one.
I feel like in Africa, in Kenya, when you say Bitcoin, the next thing is, but like so and so was scammed, or like I read in the news, these people were scammed, or you also hear that it's not money, like you say, like people say it just exists on the internet, or you hear like, that's money for rich people, or like tech people. Actually, I've heard that a lot. It's for tech people. It's not just for anyone, but we are here to demystify that and let you know that Bitcoin is for everyone and it is money and it's not a scam.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm so sorry if you've been scammed before. That happens, especially when like something new is being introduced. Because these scammers, they take advantage of people who don't have enough knowledge yet.
Yeah, sure.
But right now in this age, Bitcoin has developed a lot and there's so many resources.
Yeah, sure.
There's so many communities and platforms that offer like free education. So I feel like right now, if you get scammed, I don't want to say I blame it on you, but you kind of have.
Yeah, sure.
You're to blame as well. Something I want to let people know is when you're dealing with Bitcoin, it's always good to do your own research. It's not even up just Bitcoin, like even other things.
Yeah, sure.
When you want to buy a thermos or you're buying a bicycle, a car, or you're opening a new bank account or whatever you're doing, you first do a little research. You call people, you're like, do you trust these people? Can I buy from them? So it's the same thing with Bitcoin. Before you give someone your money or they come to you, they're like, I will double your money. Before you do that, do your own research. Go to we have AI right now. Honestly. You can just prompt GPT or whatever and be like, hey, what is Bitcoin? Like, give me just the basics. I need to understand And you'll be helped. But like Bitcoin is money. Like we are talking here today, even with our Uber when we are coming, we pay with Bitcoin. Sure. I literally live on Bitcoin through Tando. And we're here to prove to you that it's tangible and it has real use cases. So, your mentality at a Bitcoin like do your own research.
Yeah, sure.
It's just like a tool, right? It's like imagine when the internet first came out and said, I got an email scam. Nigerian scammer sent me an email and I lost all my money. Yeah. Well, you don't blame it on the email, right? Sure. Email's a great tool, and internet's all around us now. We use it every day, all the time. This podcast will go out over the internet.
Yeah, sure.
Internet's fantastic. So just like Bitcoin, it's a tool. So use it for however you want.
So I think something that people need to do is that before you do something, you need to do a couple of research. Because right now, I believe we began with the Web 1, where you would only read, not do anything. And then we get to Web 2, where you could read and, of course, edit. Right now, we are on Web 3, where you can read, edit, and own as well, And one of the ways that I feel scammers do this is that they launch a couple of tokens, That is now where people get scammed, right? That is now where people get scammed. Yes. There is this new token has come in. Guys, have you seen it? You need to start, after a couple of months, it will be out and get some stuff. So that is where people get scammed. So number one thing, something that you need to do, folks, make sure you do research. And according to that, Jason, according to how people, maybe somebody can get scammed, what does Bitcoin mean to you as a daily money life in Kenya?
Yeah, well, Bitcoin is the only money that you can trust, which is kind of ironic because the whole idea around Bitcoin is don't trust, verify.
Yeah, sure.
With Bitcoin specifically, you can look at every single line of code. It's all open source. There is no central distributor. There's no one issuing this token. It's the proof of work mechanism ensures that it's fair distribution to anyone on the planet that has access to electricity. You can plug in a miner and you can be part of the network. You can run a node and be an auditor on the network. All these other tokens, you can't do that, right? I would challenge anyone that wants to go do your own research on these tokens, figure out, can you actually run a node? Because all these other tokens are hiding under this umbrella of decentralized. We're decentralized.
Yeah, sure.
But if you actually want to decentralize a network, you have to be a node on the network that decentralizes. You have to participate in the decentralization.
Sure.
And so if you can't run a node, you're not participating in decentralization, and the whole thing's a facade. And so I would challenge you, as part of your research, when you're going down these rabbit holes and looking at this token, that token, this meme coin, figure out, can you run a node? I can guarantee you will not be able to run a node here in Kenya for these tokens.
Yeah, sure.
Like you have to be probably in the top 1% of wealthy people to be able to afford. First of all, you have to lock up tokens, which creates a false sense of a floor on the price. And then not only that, but you have to have a high-end server, like an AWS server, Amazon server, Google Cloud. You can't run it on a laptop.
Yeah, sure.
Whereas the Bitcoin network, you can.
Yeah.
An old laptop, an old ThinkPad, you need 700, 800 gigabytes of extra space. I won't get too technical there. Yeah. But you can run a node and you can actually participate in the decentralization. You can be a member of the network rather than just trying to flip these tokens and try to earn a few more shillings, which at the end of the day, we're trying to get away from those. That currency, because it's not working for any of us. All fiat currencies are broken in the world.
Yeah, sure.
I was gonna add EasyCam.
Yeah, true.
EasyCam, EasyGo, and I feel like with these tokens, I don't know. They just tell you put your money here, and that's it.
Yeah, sure.
You have to work hard for something for you to get it, and I think even our parents have instilled that in us as Africans. Like even when you want a nice body, you go to the gym.
Yeah, sure.
You work out, you run, you eat healthy. Like girls, when we want to be pretty, we go we buy all this makeup. We spend hours like doing our face.
Yeah, sure.
Cute and pretty.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with money, like. Bitcoin, proof of work.
Yes,
basically.
sure.
Like you have to put in
I was
work
gonna say that.
for you to, have that money to like truly earn it and like get the real value out of it. So you have to work hard for it. Like it will not come easy. You have to educate yourself.
Yeah, sure.
You have to take custody of your own, Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Like, to be sure you're safe. These other coins is just like, give us your money and that's it. Like,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
You think, like, no, easy come, easy go. It does not, life does not work like that.
But
right, like, how can you, like, you could go on this laptop right now, and in 5 minutes you could spin up a token. Where's the value come from?
sure, easily.
Exactly. Where does the value come
Because
from?
I saw that launching a token, it doesn't take you more than even 30 minutes. More of 5 or 10, the token is out. Then when
And
somebody...
if you can do it, we can all in
We
this
can all
room,
do
all
it,
create a
then-
token. What have we created?
sure.
We created nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, sure.
Right.
But,
So-
but I think there is something that we need to look at, because before somebody get into something, I think when people are in need, we tend to be so desperate in a way that we tend to find solution everywhere. So when we look at the Bitcoin space, the crypto space, there is this belief that people heard earlier, that you only need to be technical, which I think it is, but it's not as well, because right now, even a grandma can spend, as long as you have a wallet, you have Tando, you can spend your Bitcoin. You
Right.
see that? But so this will go, I'll take this to Sabina. So with all this, can you remember the first day that you did your first transaction with Bitcoin? How did it feel? And of course, right now, women are coming into Bitcoin, How would you say that?
So I remember the first transaction. It's like someone sent me like my first Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, whoa, it felt so real because it was the Lightning Network.
Yeah.
I remember it was wallet of Satoshi, QR code, scanned it, and instantly
Instantly,
I
yeah.
received my first
Yeah.
sat.
Yeah.
I have never experienced anything like that. It was magic, to be honest. And I see that with a lot of other people that we Orange Pill. I remember during the Kenya Blockchain and Crypto Conference, like our work was just like orange peeling people and helping them buy their first Bitcoin, spend it on Tando. And I captured their faces and everyone was just like, I can't believe it. Like, yo, I didn't know, Bitcoin works like this. I didn't know it was this fast. And it's surreal because we've never experienced something like this. But the second part of your question was women.
Yeah, women are now venturing into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And there is, I think this it's a bit interesting, because whenever we have women into something, then there must be something great behind it. Because I think when we get back into our African history, about the World War, around those things, you'll find that men were taken out. Remember, those that remained were women,
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
Women are typically the biggest spenders in
Yeah, sure.
the economy.
Oh, that's such a good point. Actually, I was going to say, like, Bitcoin, first of all, it needs more feminine energy.
Okay.
Because there's that another myth, it's like Bitcoin is just for men, but I'm seated here, I'm a woman, and we love Bitcoin.
And how does it feel?
It's great, what a man can do, a woman can do better. So, like you said, like women spend a lot, and women, they run most small economies in Africa.
True.
Like you'll find in a household, the woman is the one who pays the rent. She's the one who's doing like the shopping, the grocery shopping. She's the one who's paying for school fees. I remember my aunt, like my uncle didn't know how much school fees like he pays. He just gives money to my aunt.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Like my dad, there was a point he didn't even know how much flour costs or milk, because it's my mom who's like buying everything.
True, yeah.
So I think to have women in the Bitcoin space, it's it's so powerful because we understand this and we need more women, and we have like unique ideas and unique perspectives, and like I said, we need more feminine energy, because the masculine energy, feminine energy, like we need that balance also in the Bitcoin space. So to all women out there, whatever you're doing, you don't have to be technical. I am not technical. Like just come with whatever skill, whether you're a teacher, a marketer, like whatever you're doing in the fiat world, you can literally like add Bitcoin onto it, and it will make you, I don't know, it will help us push the network further. But yeah, we really need more women, and we are seeing more women like do great things. I mean, we have myself from Bitcoin Data.
Yeah.
We have Rosaline from B2B Ashara.
Linda.
We have Viola from, what is it called? Satoshi 53. We have Linda. Like, we're seeing more women like take up these spaces. And I'm so grateful, like, we're in this era where women can just be and do whatever they want. And
yeah, so folks, Bitcoin is for everyone, and make sure that you get to subscribe, get to follow us on across our social media platforms, and get to learn. So, Jason, so I just realized that when I used the big profit that I get from using Tando is the transaction fee, you know? That is because I was looking at all my transaction. Wow, if you sit down and you see what you spend on the transaction fee from maybe day one up to the last day of the month, it's more of your rent, you know?
Really? Wow.
For real.
Nice.
When you see all the transactions that you've used. So how do you make sure you work on the scalability and of course manage these micro payments, you know, through Lightning?
Yeah, well, I guess talking about the transaction fees. So on Tando, there's 0 transaction fees, right? So you only pay the Lightning Network, but you don't pay Tando any fees.
Sure.
People love that. The 2 things they love the most, they always tell us, they love how fast it is. They love how much it saves them money, and also how much it gives them like financial privacy, right? Right.
Yeah.
And so those are like the 3 biggest selling points. So to get back to your question on the scalability.
Yeah.
So the way Tando sees like long-term sustainability is that because we are aggregating all these transactions across thousands of people, we're receiving Bitcoin as part of the transaction, and we're releasing Kenyan shilling equivalent out the other end. Is that we can, as an individual, you need to spend every day, multiple times a day, right, for your groceries or whatever you're doing, your transportation, this and that. But as a company, we can kind of aggregate all that, and we have more time than the individual person, and so we can offset those fees that we're eating the cost of those fees up front, but Bitcoin will always outpace the fiat currency that we're sending. So we like to say we're getting the good money and we're spending the bad money. And so over time, we will outpace the temporary loss on the fees. And so we save you money, which gives you benefit and helps you actually save for the future, which is kind of the whole idea of money should allow you to save. And the problem with our current money globally is the inflation is baked into the fiat money protocol. It is guaranteed to lose value over time. It has to, in order for the governments to pay off the debt that they get themselves into. That's the only way they can get out of the debt, is devaluing our currency that we rely on to spend and save. And if you can't save, you're gonna, at some point, you're gonna look for an alternative, right? You need a way to save for the future. And so Bitcoin gives you that. And so now, and we're kind of like showing that through Tando. So as you pointed out, you actually have more money at the end of the month than you would have using traditional payment methods. And so that, what does that offer for you as your family in the future? Now you can save. It's a very powerful thing. That's the whole point of money, is to save and spend. So.
Okay, great. So Sabina, when I'm using Tando, you do encourage me to hodl, you know, not spend my Bitcoin.
You do. It's your money. Do what you want with it.
So why do you think Lightning Network is more important for the future?
Because it's first of all, I feel like the Lightning Network is cheap.
Right? Yeah, sure.
It saves you a lot of money transacting, and it's easy to build on the Lightning Network. You know, we've seen so many, like Tando is built on the Lightning Network. We now have Bitika, which allows you to buy Bitcoin via M-Pesa.
Big shout out to Fidel.
Yeah, shout out to Fidel, by the way. So I feel like it's important for the future, just because it enables us to transact fast and cheaply, and also it's easy to build. So like we can have so many more other projects being built on there that will help us scale the Bitcoin network and everything.
And as well, I think Kenya is ranked more of a 28th globally. That is on Bitcoin adoption. So, looking about all this, so what role do you see Africa, especially Kenya, play a role do they play in the Bitcoin space?
So I'm not the one who say this, but I had someone say it, and I agree with it. It's like Africa in general. It's the best use case for Bitcoin, and this is because our financial system has already it has failed us like deeply. And like we look at Africa, we have how many currencies? 42 currencies. And it's just like trading has become so hard, like moving money from one country to the other. Like it's just a lot of friction. And also like our currencies, they like the inflation, they're hit by inflation like most compared to like the US dollar or the euro. So I feel like we have an opportunity as Africa, or we're talking about Kenya, to like lead in this, new revolution that is Bitcoin. My hope, I would like to see us become like the blueprint, especially for other African countries. When it comes to Bitcoin, like we should like build, and then they should come and benchmark from us. But we always say that Kenya has always heard that it's called the Silicon Savannah of East Africa or even Africa. And we have an advantage because of M-Pesa. Like M-Pesa was revolutionary, and it still is. So most people here in Kenya, they're already used to using like digital money because we use the digital shilling over the M-Pesa network. And so when you introduce Bitcoin to them, it's not like something so new or complex. Like they get its internet money and they get that they can move it digitally. We just have to make them understand that like this is better money. So we have that advantage of leapfrogging other African countries when it comes to like Bitcoin. And I feel like we have the M-Pesa rails. It's easy to build on that using Lightning because we've done that. Fidel has done that. And it's the same thing with circles. Jodom is building BitCircle. So like making Bitcoin feel like an extension of already existing tools that people trust and use. And in this case, we have circles, we have M-Pesa. So we have that advantage of building on top of this.
True. And if you look at the Tando app, like we designed it to look and feel as much like the words, the colors, everything feels like it's M-Pesa. It's like, oh, I recognize this. So, okay, it's just one extra feature, and that's just the Bitcoin.
Because I believe I do see when I pay bus fare when I'm going home, then I show them it's sent. They're more like, whoa. Some of them didn't even realize that's Tando. They think that's M-Pesa. You see that?
Exactly. So because we don't want the receiver shouldn't have to know anything about Bitcoin. That's the whole goal. Like you as a Bitcoin holder and spender, that's for you to worry about. The receiver doesn't have to do anything. They don't have to have the Tendo app. They don't have to know about Bitcoin. They just receive money just like they're used to.
Yeah, and I think that's another layer of security because I remember a while ago when you paid with M-Pesa, so they asked for to see the message, and they will see your balance. Right.
Which is risky.
Which there are a couple of cases a while ago where people were being followed, So with Bitcoin, I think it has added that more of security because somebody doesn't need to know what you got.
Right.
The business is that you gave me a service and I paid you.
That's all that matters at the end of the day, right? Yeah. You got the money, I got the goods and services. End of transaction. Go on our separate ways now. Yeah.
So something that I love to ask is that when we look at how Tando works, so it's more of how would I say it? It's more of an intermediator, somebody that speaks the other side and bring this side, which I believe it's built on a Lightning network, And right now we have a couple of guys need to come in, What are some of the challenges that you face when you're building this?
Well, one of the inspirations was that, Felix from the core, shout out to Felix, and we saw he was trying to onboard merchants to accept Bitcoin, which is a very important part of this whole Bitcoin mission, is to get people to accept it natively. But I don't know how many people there are in Kenya that have a store or even like a Smoky guy. There's probably hundreds of thousands of people that all have some goods or service that they're trying to sell.
Yeah, sure.
And so if you can imagine the amount of time and energy to get all of them to accept Bitcoin, that is a lot of work. It can take years and years and years and years and years. And so we kind of looked at that, kind of going back to what Sabina was saying, is like, well, if we could just cut out the receiver side and only focus on the spender side, we can, we'll build up a quote unquote army of people that are willing to spend their Bitcoin. Now that there's people willing to spend their Bitcoin, eventually the merchants will realize, hey, this Bitcoin thing, I should be accepting it for my business. And now that you know, it's like a chicken and egg problem. Like if there's no one to spend Bitcoin, you have no incentive as a merchant to accept it.
Yeah, sure.
Vice versa, if you're a merchant that wants to accept it and there's no one to spend it, you're kind of in a catch-22. And so by focusing on just half of that equation, just the spenders, now people, and if you've seen Tando, you can see at the end, you show the receipt, I paid with Bitcoin. And merchants are going to start to see that more and more. It's like, all these people coming in, they're spending with Tando, Bitcoin thing. Maybe I'll just accept it natively. And then you don't need Tando, right? You can go take your Lightning wallet, you spend it directly at the merchant, and you don't need us as an intermediary to facilitate that. But we have to like get that ball rolling, and that's kind of the role we see with Tando for now.
Yeah. So there is this something I think it's insane. Right now, I think maybe 2 years ago, even 1 year, if you had 50 shillings, that is on a Kenyan currency, you could maybe access 1 loaf of bread, But right now, if you have 50 shillings, you can't access that.
No, that's true. The bread was actually 40-something.
45, yeah. But right now, if you have the same amount, But take, for instance, if you had the same Bitcoin worth 50 shillings, maybe a year ago. You see? Maybe you have more of maybe 4 breads or 3 breads. So what would you say about that?
So what you just described, on the Kenyan shilling side, that's inflation. It's when your currency, its value, it like trickles down, and so prices seem to go up. But in reality, it's just the value that is leaking, and that's a common thing with African currencies. Like inflation just hits us left and right, and most people are not aware of this. So that's why when you make phone calls at home, you call your mom and they're like, mi niko poa, lakini maisha imekuwa ngumu.
Yeah, sure.
Vitu zimepanda, but it's not that your groceries are getting expensive. It's the value of your
yeah, sure.
So that's inflation, and I feel like most people need to learn that. And the thing about inflation is it sucks the life out of you.
Yeah, true.
Because now you have to work 10 times harder. You have to keep earning more so that you can keep up with it, And this is why we see people like taking on side hustles, like doing like 3 jobs, working late at night. It's because the system is broken.
Yeah, sure.
I always say hustle culture it's a reflection, or it's a reflection of the broken system. We've been conditioned to think that, wow, when you have like 3 jobs, you're hardworking, and you should be everyone's role model. Because in reality, no. It's because you have to keep up with this.
Yeah.
Now, the good thing about Bitcoin is deflationary, like you said. If you had saved 50 shillings in Bitcoin last year or 2 years ago, right now that 50 shillings will get you like so many breads.
Yeah, sure.
And why is this? It's because the supply of Bitcoin, it's capped at 21 million.
Oh, yeah, wow.
We know that.
Yeah.
And so it makes it, it cannot be printed or like the way fiat currency, fiat currency, central authorities, they have control to the money machine. And so they print as many notes as they want. And so with Bitcoin, you cannot be able to do that because the supply is capped. And so when the supply is capped, the demand goes up, and so the value increases.
Yeah,
and that is what is happening every year with Bitcoin. Like value goes up because no one can make more of it. And so for me, I feel like, Bitcoin it's freedom, basically, the way we say, because it's saving you from this system that has you captured, and it's making you run so hard on this treadmill that, like, we call it the fiat treadmill, where you're just constantly running for this money, but this money is never enough. So you are stuck there, you lose time, you lose peace of mind, you're depressed, you're sad because all you chase is money, but this money is never enough. So Bitcoin offers us the freedom to step from that treadmill and just like focus on other things in life. Because if you save that 50 shillings in Bitcoin, you know that a year from now, your value will still remain the same, or it would have been increased. So you can go and focus on other things. Live in your purpose, whatever you are put on this earth to do. Because I'm a spiritual pastor, and I believe life is spiritual. And we all have that thing that we are to do, that no one else can do, and a place we are to feel that no one else can feel, like a purpose. But since we are stuck in this fiat system, it's so hard for us to find that purpose because we are distracted by, keeping up with the treadmill. So Bitcoin offers you the freedom to step off that treadmill and come and live your life peacefully, calmly, and just enjoy life as a human being. And I would encourage more people to just pay attention to Bitcoin, study Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, especially for your future, for your kids, for your family, for your peace of mind.
Work for Bitcoin, you know.
Ask your employers to pay you in Bitcoin. Whatever business you are doing, imagine, start accepting Bitcoin for your business. Even if you're selling porridge or bananas, call them Bitcoin bananas. Accept Bitcoin.
And the thing is, like, now that you have Tondo, like we've heard this in Kibra, the ladies, they're no longer afraid to accept Bitcoin because they know they can turn around and spend it through Tondo.
True.
So they can restock their shelves with the Bitcoin they receive. So there's really no excuse at this point to not accept Bitcoin.
You have all the tools. Like literally accept Bitcoin.
And do a small transaction. Test it. That's the best way to learn. Just do a small transaction, figure it out, and see if it's right for you.
Just make sure you go online. Every African can go online. That is the talk. So there's some of the things that we can't get to ignore, Right now, something that is happening in Kenya, people, for me, I think depression comes in where we are about what's going to happen next. You see
and it's
that.
Always tied to the money.
You see, and it's all about currency, money. Somebody's going, what am I going to eat? How am I going to pay my rent? So that is now where the problem comes in, Like right now, we have the Mandamano thing.
Oh, true.
So somebody somewhere is like, I'm not going to open my shop tomorrow because this is going to happen. You see? But then we have these, this person has this hope that if I go over there, then I'll get something to eat, So when I come to you, Jason, and of course I think Sabina will touch on that, how has Bitcoin help you overcome your anxiety, depression? Because I believe each and every person has got these down times, So how does Bitcoin help you?
Well, Bitcoin really opens your eyes. A lot of people, especially on Bitcoin Twitter /X, analogize Bitcoin to the Matrix. The Matrix, the movie, is kind of like, if you're living in the Matrix, you don't see how the system really works. Once you get pulled out of the Matrix, you actually see how the financial system works, how government works, how all these systems that we could just kind of grow up and just get thrown into the system. You never really dive deep and appreciate how they all work together, and how the people that are at the top can manipulate the system to their advantage. Right?
Yeah, true.
True. Bitcoin kind of pulls the curtain back and shows you how money works, how government works, how geopolitics works, how so many elements that we just kind of take for granted, how it actually functions. And when the money's not working, like Sabina said, and you have to work harder, you have to take a second or third job. That's taking time away from what you could otherwise spend to learn how the system works. And so it's almost like this hole that you can never get out of, because you have to work harder, so you have less time to do research on how the system works. Now you're stuck on the system, and you just can't get out.
Yeah, sure.
And so if you can just pull away, put your earbuds in, listen to a podcast, watch scroll through Twitter, like just try to find some time that you can learn about Bitcoin. And once you get far enough down the rabbit hole and you realize what this thing really offers you, it will give you some of that time back. And it starts to take some of the stress away. You can get rid of that third job. And now you just have the two, and you can save for the future. And it's really powerful. It takes, one of the biggest silent killers of people is stress.
Yeah, sure,
right?
sure.
So by taking the stress element out, that you don't have to be, up all night on that third job or whatever, and you can actually know that my money is safe, it's secure, it can't be debased, it can't be stolen from me through time theft. It just changes your life completely.
Yeah, sure.
So, highly recommend.
Yeah, I agree 100% with everything Jason said. The fiat system, it steals your time, it steals your peace of mind. It sucks literally the life out of you.
Sure.
It's depressing.
Yeah.
And personally for me, I would say Bitcoin is healing energy because
Yeah.
it pours into you.
Yeah, freedom
you know?
is here, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, it pours into you and it heals you. Because I remember, like, for me, the time I discovered Bitcoin, I was in a very, I don't want to say tough, but like, yeah, I was thinking so much about life, like what life means, what is my purpose.
Sure.
And then I found Bitcoin, and I feel like in Bitcoin I found my purpose, through providing value back to people, through Tando, and also like just me educating someone about what Bitcoin is. Like I've said, I'm a lover of life, and I live by the mantra, living and not just existing.
Yeah.
And from having conversations with a lot of people, including my own family, I've just come to realize that most people in this life, they're just existing. They're not truly living their life. And what do I mean by living? Living is having time to go to the park, like smelling the flowers, slow living, basically, going, traveling, experience different cultures, hiking the mountain, swimming in the oceans and all that. And most people don't get to do that. And why is that? Because they're prisoners to this fiat system that is stealing time. It's stealing everything from them, even energy. And we've normalized it so much that it looks like that's how life should be. Because our parents were born into this system. We are born into this system. Our kids are born into this system. So there has to be that one person who breaks that, what is it called?
The poverty cycle or something?
That cycle.
Yeah.
And I feel like Bitcoin has given us a chance, especially we Gen Zs, this
generation, sure.
to break that cycle in our family,
and
teach them about this thing that now is giving us freedom to truly live and be happy and all that. Like, it saddens me. My grandma and grandpa are very old right now, and I go to check on them every now and then in the village, and we're just seated there. And I look at them and I see like they didn't get to live their life the way they should have.
Sure.
My grandpa just worked. He worked. Now he's old and he's just there at home, stuck.
Yeah.
He cannot do anything.
Yeah.
When I travel, I see like some old people in these foreign countries. They're even more like, when I'm doing my activities, like travel activity, I see them. And then I remember my grandpa back at home seated. And honestly, I cry. I shed tears sometimes. I feel so bad because he didn't get to live like this. The system stole that from him. But now, thankfully, Satoshi blessed us with these now alternative systems. So like Jason said, when you go down the rabbit hole, you learn how money works, how the government works. Like, it's so designed to keep you there. But now you have a chance, or like, you can now say, I'm done, enough is enough, I'm done with this system, and I'm moving to this other system. And that's what I always tell people, especially right now in Kenya with everything going on, the protest, the everything. The best way to protest is to leave their system and move into people. Like,
sit down and write code.
Yeah, that is so peaceful. Like, no one gets hurt physically, no bloodshed. You just opt out of their system. Like, you're like, I'm not using their money, I'm just going to use Bitcoin. Step into this other system, and that's it. And you'll see how, like, we will. Hey, I don't want to
glow.
Yeah, you will glow, and you'll be happy. No one gets hurt.
Yeah.
So it's us just trying to let people know that Bitcoin is here. Like, we have a savior now, guys. This is Bitcoin. Let's run here. Stop focusing on this. This is a distraction. This is noise. Bitcoin is a signal.
Like the hustle culture is like put up on a pedestal.
The
hustle culture. Everything's
hustle fun.
Relax. Where's the relaxed culture? Where's the chill?
Relax, slow living, soft life. We're not meant to just come to this work, pay bills, die.
Pay and die. We need to experience life. You know. And something that I think we need to look at is that Bitcoin saves you time, and that is now the biggest time. Because I remember when maybe there is this tension, in African countries. I don't know if it's in the Western also. There is a certain age. If you are at a certain age, you believe now I should be paying my bills,
Oh yeah.
And then now you realize that you're 30, you're 27. You know, time has gone, but you got nothing. You know, and what basically is that what really happened is that I remember a while ago. I do have fish point eateries. Of course, guys, we accept Bitcoin. Nice. Come eat fish, pay in Bitcoin. So when you check us on the BTC map, just search fish point eateries, place your orders, and we'll get back to you. So remember, before I get into Bitcoin, I used to run this business, you know. But then something happened, you know. Things happen, and everything went, you know. All the things that I had inside, all the money, it's more of burnt, you know.
Whoa.
Now you see such a thing.
The store caught fire.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, wow.
So there is a way, if you sit down, you feel like, oh, I've lost everything, you know.
Yeah.
Where am I gonna start? And you put everything over there, and you saw something. Maybe after 2 years, I got a bigger eatery, you know, and such a thing happens. So Bitcoin is here to save your life, and Bitcoin is here to stay. And I think there is a talk that we need to engage these guys. So somebody says that Bitcoin maybe is not going to last, you know. So what we say, Bitcoin is here to last, because somebody posed the question on the quantum computer. Remember the talk? Yeah. So we know it's fast, and it can generate a private key from public key. But there is a way Bitcoin has got this branching system, you know. So it operates on node. So when the other nodes realize that the other one is being attacked, there is a branch, you know, which makes it harder, you know, to get breach into it. So maybe, Jason, you can add something into that.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking in the case of like if your shop gets burnt down, or like the other day we saw in the news, goons went in and stole laptops from a business. Imagine there was like a cash box in the business, or imagine you had cash in your restaurant and it caught fire and it burnt down. Cash is gone. You're never getting that back.
Yeah, you'll never get it back.
The cool thing about Bitcoin is it exists on this distributed ledger that exists on all these computers around the world.
Sure.
And so as long as you have your seed phrase, your backed up seed phrase, which you stamp into a piece of metal, it's not going to burn, right? You can always recover your Bitcoin.
Yeah, sure.
So that's a new superpower that us humans now have access to that can save you from disasters like that. Or if you're fleeing a country, you know, God forbid, there's like, you know, these wars that are breaking out in the Middle East, you need to flee your home. If you've got like gold bricks or something, you can't run across the border with that. They're going to seize that. But if you can just memorize 12 words and go across the border and flee to a safer place, you can now recover your funds anywhere in the world. So that's like something we've never had access to. And it's really powerful.
And of course, Sabina, there is something when we look at the suicidal rates in Kenya, you'll find that young people tend to commit suicide. And it's all, you know, it's all tied into financial things, you know. So what will you say about that?
That is true. You know, like most young people right now, it's really hard to be financially stable.
Yeah, sure.
First of all, our currency is devaluing every day.
Yeah, true.
Like we don't have jobs.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Like there are no jobs compared to like in the 80s when my grandpa, they would just survive on one paycheck, you know, 'cause the money at least had value back then. But now, it's like, I saw a meme the other day, and it was, the caption was like, my life when I decide to be an adult, and it's just bombs and fires. And I feel like for us Gen Zs, that's what we're experiencing. Like, it feels like the world is, you know, going crazy. COVID, wars, all that. So like, it feels like life is against you right now. There are no jobs, there are nothing. So like, life can be very, very depressing. And I feel like we were not prepared for this, to be honest. In school, you just learn theory and all.
Yeah, sure.
And you're like they teach you the only jobs you should get are like finish, get a degree, corporate, doctor, So when you come out here, the reality is different. And you're like, oh my God, where should I, start? And it's really hard because I've been in that position before when I graduated campus, and I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do with my life? But again, good thing we have Bitcoin. Honestly, I feel like Bitcoin it's the solution to everything. And I know it sounds cliche, but it's true.
Yeah, sure.
You know, you can start as a young person who you don't know where to go, study Bitcoin first. I feel like when you study Bitcoin, it gives you that hope that everything is gonna be okay. First of all, you get that feeling that okay, the world is not ending. Or maybe it is, I don't know. But Bitcoin is hope. And then I emphasize on skills, you know, like sahau hizo paper zako umepewa shule. Like forget about all those papers and focus on your skills. Now, what is your talent? What can you do?
Yeah.
You know, can you paint?
Yeah.
Can you cook?
Yeah.
Can you yap? Like some people just have to talk. Can you do that?
Yeah.
If you can, start talking about Bitcoin. Start painting about Bitcoin.
And they'll pay you for that.
Yeah. And also put yourself out there. I feel like Bitcoin Twitter or X, that for me has been a great resource. I've met amazing people.
Yeah, sure.
I've been connected to like people, many opportunities there. So get on that. Like don't just waste your time online scrolling, you know, worthless things. Like go on Twitter, connect with amazing people. But start with studying Bitcoin. The core offers like free education.
Yeah, sure.
And I know like right now the applications are open.
Is out,
yeah, Bitcoin Data also offers free education for African women. And I also know their applications are open. So like there are so many platforms you can learn. And maybe they can come to your YouTube channel, you link all of them there.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Go
and
there.
Of course I saw Data Devs, they'll have a boot camp.
Yeah, so there's so many things happening in the Bitcoin space. You
and
just
it's all free.
It's all free, exactly.
So your interest, you know?
So it's make a choice, get out of this depressing system.
Yeah.
And step into the Bitcoin system where there's hope, we are healing, and we are happy.
I mean, come, let's grow together, you know. So I think Sabina, you'll just guide the audience on how to use Thando, because for me, guys, this is something that have been so great to me.
Yeah, I can see the transaction history.
The transaction. When I get into the matatu, I mean, I pay with that, you know. Bitcoin. When I'm going to, maybe Sampa, I pay with Bitcoin. So maybe you can do a use case.
Yeah, sure. So like we said, Thando is an app that allows you, it's a mobile app that allows you to spend your Bitcoin in Kenya. M-Pesa is accepted and all transactions are free. Don't forget that. So we are saving you a lot of money. We are saving you time and money, you know, and time is a very scarce resource. So you're welcome. What else? So you need two things to use Thando. First of all, you need Bitcoin and you need your wallet. So your Bitcoin needs to be in a Bitcoin wallet that Lightning enabled for you to be able to use Thando. So the good thing, we now have Bitika, and I know he's gonna be like your guest at some point.
We're gonna bring Bitika next.
So with Bitika, so you just go to bitika.xyz and you can be able to buy Bitcoin with as little as 10 shillings. And when you go to that site, the platform, they have suggested Lightning wallets for you. So first of all, you make sure you download the wallet. They even have the links there so that you don't have to go outside the platform. So you download either a Blink or wallet of Satoshi. Because once you buy this Bitcoin, it has to go somewhere. And that is your wallet. So it goes there. I don't want to go into technical. Technically, that's not correct, but
it's fine.
Yeah, for beginners,
it's okay.
That's all you need to know.
Thando.
Yeah. So after you have now your Bitcoin in your Lightning wallet, that's where Thando comes in. So let's say now you want to pay your bills. And I know some people, most of us Bitcoiners, we just use Bitcoin. We don't know any other currency. So this is Thando. So should I do it on this?
Sure. So maybe you can just.
So this is Thando, and this is what you get when you open the app. So you have the scan QR code, the send money option, pay bills, or buy goods. So basically all features you get when using M-Pesa. And now, and this Lightning Bolt, this takes you to the FAQ, so or your transaction history. And then your FAQ, what is M-Pesa, how does Thando work, like the frequently asked questions when people are using Thando. Okay, so for this demo, I'm going to use send money. So let's come here to send money. And I'm going to key in the phone number. So maybe I'll...
maybe head of content, we have Felix Mregi. Can benefit. That is Felix.
Do we want to say his number out loud?
No, really, maybe you can just chip in.
I can just do the sites, the numbers, then you can just type it in.
Oh,
You
okay.
sure?
So give us him.
7
The?
07
Mm-hmm.
99
Mm-hmm.
99
Mm-hmm.
00 61.
It's a great number.
So he's gonna blur this. Maybe you should come here with your phone.
Yeah,
You want
sure,
to see
sure,
the
sure.
transaction.
Do you want me to get up?
Just chip in, man.
No, he can just.
Okay.
So we
Just fix
have
yourself.
Felix's number.
Okay.
We've put that. This is Felix, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are gonna send him. How much do you want?
Whoa.
We're gonna say. I feel like 300.
Yeah, sure.
That's
maybe.
lunch. That's decent
Yeah.
lunch. So today Felix gets. I buy Felix lunch today.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna send him 300 Kenyan shillings.
Mm-hmm.
And then next, so Tando, it creates an invoice for me,
Yeah, sure.
and I'm gonna click on create invoice,
Mm-hmm.
and then this is the invoice, and it shows me the amount in BTC,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm gonna pay the invoice.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah,
opens
it
my
takes you to your
wallet, as you've
wallet, yeah.
seen. So thank God I have. So like you've seen, it automatically opens your
Yeah,
or
sure,
connects
sure.
you to your Lightning wallet, and then you click on next.
And
then you like approve that
and
payment.
it's almost instant.
And now anytime from now Felix should receive, please have your phone ready and your message ready.
Yeah. It's there.
There.
Yeah. Just almost instant, guys. Zero fees.
Literally less than 15 seconds.
I mean-
So yeah, there I've sent Felix Mergy
Mm-hmm.
300 Kenyan shillings, and then it shows me the amount I've spent in Bitcoin,
Mm-hmm.
the receipt number, because some merchants will want
Yeah,
to see
sure. The receipt
number.
number. Yeah.
So you can send them that. And my favorite part is I paid with
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin
Using
using
Tando.
Tando. So every time you use Tando, whoever you pay, make sure they see this.
Yeah,
with
sure.
this